If you haven't kept up, people have been wondering where Vicha is. Vicha, a new girl group under JYP that technically debuted in January but released like 2 songs and then dipped, apparently hasn't been heard from in months. Especially, they pulled out of their Lollapalooza performance in August. Also, member Kaylee has been on hiatus without a word for months. So I wanted to get the tea on why such a new girl group would stop working and promoting, and y'all, there's tea. JYP may or may not be lying, and may or may not be in over their heads. Above all else, I wish everyone in this situation peace and love, and everything I say in this video is all alleged. Let's go! Okay. The Sun and Happiness, the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse position, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, well... This is not the best news you could possibly get. The Sun literally talks about unhappiness. The 9 of Pentacles talks about like somebody who is sort of like in a gilded cage, or it's like on the outside it looks like they have everything, but like they're trapped in some way, or they're unhappy in some way, or they wish they could be free in some way. Sometimes it can also talk about like sometimes we can also talk about like being in an unideal environment. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune, which in the reverse position can talk about like bad luck. These two are both major arcana cards. The Sun and the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about like being unhappy and bad luck. The Fool is another major arcana. Oh, okay. Well, we're getting a ton of major... Literally stop it. Literally stop this whole effing reading. The Fool talks about like naivety, going in a bad direction. The Lovers can talk about a choice. They can also talk about romance, but I mean, in this case, it's about a choice. The Devil talks about like toxicity, or leaning on some sort of like substance or something like unhealthy for you. It can also talk about like being in a bad situation, a bad relationship. All of these cards, except for the 9 of Pentacles, are... cards that they're major arcana cards, which talks about like major events happening. A lot's happening with VCHA. I wouldn't say it's good. If I'm being honest. So far, it seems like, I mean, like energetically, the girls, like their energy feels very heavy and like sad, or like almost like disappointed. Which I guess like, you know, if you thought you were gonna debut in like a major K-pop group and you guys haven't really done a lot of like promoting or like work. Despite like the training that they did in their show, their energy seems very heavy. The Devil, I mean, because we have the Devil and we have like the 9 of Pentacles, to me that reads as like an unideal environment. I wouldn't go as far as to say a toxic environment. I do think it's one that they didn't expect. I think aren't all the girls, I'm so sorry, I don't know a lot about Vicha, I'm so sorry, but aren't almost all the girls like not from Korea? I feel like some of them are having a harder time than maybe they expected, and also maybe like JYP anticipated in adapting to Korean culture and like Korean work culture. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's toxic, but it is one thing where it's just like it culturally doesn't translate. Like if as an American, if I were to go to like Korean like work culture, I don't know if I would particularly survive. You know, I just like to take it easy. The Fool talks about like naivety as well. And then the Lovers was like a choice coming up, hard work, or like working at the wrong thing, friendship and community. The Knight of Wands going towards something. I will say I think the girls have gotten quite close, or closer. Like they find like community with each other and like camaraderie with each other. I get the impression that they're still practicing. Because you have the 8 of Pentacles, which is like beating on your craft. Sometimes it can also indicate like working at something, but it's not the thing that you're supposed to be working on. But you have the Knight of Wands, which Knights is like energy. It's also like starting something, or building something. It's in the reverse position. And these two cards together to me indicate, I mean, like I see literally in my mind's eye, I see them like practicing at JYP, and they're sort of like, well, what are we practicing for? Because I feel like there were plans to have like a comeback or something for them. Honestly, it feels like around this time, but those have been like delayed or pushed back or even canceled. But it seems like they're still under JYP. It seems like they're still like having to practice the way other idols are practicing. And the 3 of Cups to me indicates that like they're still together as a group, and it feels like the relationships between the members, they've gotten closer. I feel like they've kind of gotten closer out of like, we're all like fish out of water, and they all like each other. I think they're about the same age, so it like makes sense. Okay, the 6 of Swords and the 6 of Wands. Oh, both of these are movement cards. This is moving towards valor or like pride, or being very prideful in what you have. And this is like a, sometimes it's a delay of like moving on from something. I feel like Vicha could be incredibly successful. I don't really know if JYP thinks they could be successful. I kind of want to know why they haven't had a comeback though, or like where they are, or I guess like why it's been radio silent for the girls. The internet, sometimes it can be like fast moving as well. Ungratefulness sometimes that can be a lack of imagination. And then that card, the fruits of your labor's not paying off. Oh, there just wasn't, oh my god, this is so annoying. There literally just like wasn't enough hype around them, I think. Or like it didn't give the best payoff. It's annoying because the cards are saying that VCHA could actually be quite successful. If they were like given like, I don't know, better direction, or like they went in a different direction, or if something was like done differently to like promote them or like the music that they're producing. But I feel like the reason why we haven't really heard from them is because this is like the fruits of your labors not paying off. And this is like the internet, but it can be like fast moving, a lot happening, or just like a lot of energy, which would mean like there's not a lot of hype around them. And this can sometimes be like petulantness of sort of like you're not pleased despite like somebody like really trying hard to please you, and it's like nothing's really satisfying. That's what it seems like energetically to me. I'm picturing like JYP the person, but like I feel like that represents the company. But I like picture him like crossing his arms, sort of like a little frustrated and disappointed. I think almost at like maybe VCHA not making the biggest splash. And also I feel like they were like, this was my idea, but like HYBE has an international girl group, and like one other company, right, has an international girl group. Maybe I'm thinking of Black Swan, but there's like not enough like hype around them. I wouldn't say they've disbanded though. The Magician, Manifestation, the Three of, the King of Pentacles. They're trying to get different producers or like artists or people to work with VCHA. I think that's kind of what it is. I feel like they've taken a step back to recalculate or like calibrate. The Magician is like manifestation, or like getting things, I don't know, or like having all you need to like create something. But you have the Three of Pentacles in the reverse position, which is like collaboration, but when it's in the reverse position, it's like a lack of that. Sometimes they can also talk about like isolation. But you have the King of Pentacles, which is like somebody who's really wealthy, which to me indicates like JYP, because they're top, K-pop company. They have enough money to like throw around. So I think they're trying to like find people to work with. Not that they can't, it's just sort of like they're trying to find the right team that can make VCHA an actual success. I think they're trying to distinguish VCHA from like ITZY and NMIX and other girl groups, because there's so many. Then they're like, how are we going to make them stand out? And also, how are we going to make them stand out from Cat's Eye? Who's like, I would argue, kind of a direct competitor to VCHA, just because it's about the same idea. Just in terms of like international people. You have the Queen of Pentacles, nurturing, the Ten of Cups, which is a happy ending. And then you have the Eight of Swords, which is like overthinking, overanalyzing, but also it's sort of like being bound up by your thoughts. Oh, the girls could have, I genuinely in my heart of hearts feel like VCHA could be a smash hit. I feel like they could, maybe that's maybe too, but like they could be, not to like compare girl groups, but just in terms of popularity, they could like surpass like ITZY and NMIX. I just feel like they could be like an actually really big hit. But there's a lot of like overthinking with this group. I think, I don't know why I'm particularly surprised with this as a fan, but to me the energy seems almost like JYP didn't know what they were getting into when they like created this group like that, even though I feel like this has been in the making for like a really long time. But the Queen of Pentacles is like nurturing, or like taking care of something, and the Ten of Cups is like a happily ever after. But it's interesting because I feel like that's kind of up in the air, mostly because the people who are making their music are producing for them, because this feels somewhat focused on the girls, but more like who's around them, and they're all just sort of like, we don't know what to do, we don't know how to make them like bigger, we want to get our like return on investment. So there's a lot of like buzzing around that. They haven't given up on the girls, because it seems like there's a lot of energy around them. These two cards, by the way, mirror each other a lot, just in terms of kind of what they say. The Queen of Cups too, because we just got the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. That's so spooky. They are working, I love this reading, this is so fun. Okay, they are working really hard to recalibrate with, I don't know what went wrong. To be honest, I was not paying close enough. I had a lot going on when they debuted. I was not paying attention. So I don't know if it was like a big flop or if like it just did. I don't know what happened. But their debut didn't do what the company wanted it to do. So now they're recalculating. They also, I think, have a member on hiatus. I think that might play a role. I'm not entirely, I guess I should look into maybe why she's on hiatus. But the Queen of Cups is like the Queen of Emotion. getting your emotions in check, like also starting to like see your own uniqueness and your own value. I really think the top things they're trying to focus on with Vicha are how are we different from other girl groups, and how can we make this like a bigger phenomenon. The Three of Wands is like planning and like strategizing, and then the Nine of Swords in the reverse position can sometimes be like the relief of like overthinking. So I think they've been kind of like bees buzzing around a hive, being like, what do we do? I don't know what to do. And now they're starting to like strategize and be like, how are we going to make these girls unique? There's movement for Vicha, which is great. I don't think they've been like abandoned. The Ten of Pentacles. They have a bright future ahead of them. I think it's like 70% JYP is like, I feel like they're not going to be like just gone forever. I feel like they're like, what's the word? There's going to be like some like reorganizing of the group. I don't know if the lineup's going to change. I don't know for certain if the lineup's going to change, but there's going to be like changes to the group. I don't know if we'll notice as fans, but like there's going to be a shakeup of some sort. I don't know if they've been around long enough for a fan to notice. In the same way, like if like, I don't know, like Twice like dramatically like changed their thing, we would notice because Twice has been around forever, so you just kind of get the rhythm. The Ten of Pentacles though is like looking back at your past and being like fulfilled, or looking at your life and being like satisfied with it. Temperance is like balance, peace, serenity, like things are like flowing, things are going. But then it's weird because it's always like the last couple of pulls have been like beats of like happiness, and then stress. There's something underlying with Vicha that is like stressful. But it's sort of like, it feels like the girls are great, perfect. They except maybe like, I don't know. It seems like most of the members are like actually like perfect K-pop idols. They're pretty, they're good at their job, they sing very well, they dance very well, they follow directions, love. I don't know if it's necessarily the members' fault. It seems like there's something that's like askew with the group, and that might be like a team member, like somebody who produces for them, or like a Cordy or something. It might be an actual like member of the group, but there's like some underlying tension. It feels more like it's on the company than like an idol themselves. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know who is on hiatus right now. Again, when they debuted, I wasn't paying attention, and they've been out of the spotlight for a while. But I'm curious to know why. Ooh, that fell out. Why they're on hiatus. If they're ill or if they got kicked out. Let's find out together. Okay, number one, as I'm shuffling, the cards are not having it, which can be a bad sign. Stop it. Oh no. Oh no! These are, do you see how like, look how like all of like the cards have been really bright, and then like these cards, dark as hell. Okay, well, the Ten of Swords is, sometimes it can be like backstabbing, but sometimes it can also be like the ending of something and the beginning of something else. You have the Tower in the reverse position. That can be like dodging a bullet, but it can also be like the delay of like restructuring, the delay of something new. Or like you're avoiding like something, like if you were to avoid going to the dentist because you're like, oh, it's going to hurt, but it's also like you need to go to the dentist or your teeth are going to fall out. And then you have the Seven of Swords, which is like, that can be like thievery, or like something you're trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes, or like lying in some way, like you're trying to deceive somebody, which are not positive cards. I think this is I don't want to say, I will say that I feel like what JYP said, that it being a health issue, I don't think it's a health issue. And I'm not calling the idol, because the idol didn't say anything. It was just relayed through the company. But I feel like it's one of those things where JYP's like, oh, like it's a health issue, but it's really like not. They just don't want to say like, oh, like we're having trouble with like their contract, or like they want to like leave and they signed, like, I don't know. But there's also like something like shady going on. Childhood, or a child, walking away from something physical. They've been, well, okay, like this card can talk about like childhood, but can also talk about like an actual child. And I believe everyone in Vicha is like not an adult yet. You have the Five of Swords, which is the walking away from, but it can also be like a fight, or it can also be, what's the word? Like the desire to like fight again, or the desire to like be in a fight. But you have the Page of Pentacles, which is like a new, the beginning of something, or like the energy. It's like young energy, and it's like physical. Working towards something, but it's the wrong something. Oh, someone wanted to leave their contract. I think that's what's going on. The member that to be honest, I feel like if you are somebody who's young and you're in the idol industry and you want to leave, like, that's quite stressful. I feel like she wants to leave her contract, but it's one of those things where it's like a back and forth. Maybe she was like, I didn't know like being an idol was going to be like this, and it's bad for my mental health. So in that sense, I could understand it being like a health issue. But it seems like just because you have like the 10 of Wands, you also got the 10 of Swords when we pulled that, which is the ending of something. But the 10 of Wands is like working really hard at something, but it's like a burden. And it's not necessarily the right something to be working on for yourself. So to me, I don't know what member is on hiatus right now, but in my mind's eye, I like see it like an idol. And to me, it just seems like they're like, this is a lot of work. Like, that's what it seems like. The Hermit is like the need to go in and introspection, and you have 2 pages. You also had this card, which is childhood, and pages are like young people. They can be like teens or like young adults. So I feel like whatever member it was, I think they're just a little bit in over their head. I think they're stressed out. I think they go back and forth on if they want to stay at JYP or not, which is why they're on hiatus. I feel like they mentioned, like, however long ago when they first went on hiatus, that they were like, I think I want to not do this anymore. Which again, like, because JYP poured a lot of like money and time into them, they're like, you can't just like quit, like you signed a contract. So they're like, what if you go on a break so you can like recoup? Which is like what, ITZY's Leah is just coming back from a hiatus, and I would imagine it was the same thing. And they're hoping, I think, that she doesn't leave. But like we pulled like the Tower in the reverse position, which is like the delaying of like maybe not the inevitable. That's what I heard in my head, was the delaying of the inevitable. I fight what I hear in my head sometimes when I'm reading, because I'm like, I don't want to say that. But the Tower is like delaying something that needs to happen, even if it's a big calamity. And that's why I think we haven't heard a lot from Vicha, because JYP is a little bit stressed out about like, well, we're gonna lose money if she like dips. Even if she like owes them, it's sort of like, well, we have to retrain somebody, we have to reintroduce them into the group, we have to make sure there's chemistry, which is like putting off of like comebacks that could be earning JYP money essentially. Pettiness, petty fighting. Sometimes it can be like an inequality. Favoritism sometimes, or like the giving of money to somebody else, and strength, finding your inner strength. Apprehension. This is like a small celebration sometimes. And this can be a contract and like the breaking of a contract. I think the members are very close. I think the members are close to whoever is on hiatus right now, too. They're, like, both sad that she wants to leave, but they're also, like, apprehensive, because they're like, well, we want to, like, debut, though, and, like, dance. This seems like, because there haven't been that many, like, major arcana cards about this issue, it seems like something in passing. It seems like the members are still, like, practicing every day, like, improving whatever they're doing. One member is on hiatus. JYP is buzzing around trying to like figure out what's up and what's down, about like making sure they're unique, making sure their group is like successful. So there is like an underlying like tension or apprehension, which I think is what I was reading when I kept pulling all of those negative cards, was there's a member that like is just sort of like, this isn't for me. And I think they feel quite I guess bad, like, because you're like, this is what I want, and you like sign everything, and you're there, and you're like, I hate it. So I have a lot of empathy for that. Any final thoughts? I don't think they've disbanded though. I think JYP is literally like trying to figure it out. Tight control, Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords. Yeah, there's tons of discussions. I think the discussions aren't necessarily like, they're productive in the sense that they keep running into walls, but eventually you're gonna run into like, a way through. But this can sometimes indicate like a tight control. I feel like somebody's trying to wrestle control away from whoever their creative director is. I don't know if their creative director is JYP the person, but like somebody's like tightly held on to like the vision of Vicha, which I think they're like, this isn't gonna work though. Like, they're not gonna be successful if we go with this vision. I think this is kind of good news. I don't know when they'll come back. That's super uncertain. They will come back eventually, though. I think either there's going to be a change in a lineup. The girl might stay. It's very, like, up in the air with her if she's going to, like, go on a hiatus or, like, come back. But I don't think they'll be back for a while. I don't know if we'll hear anything from JYP or not about an update on the group either, because they don't even know. Well, good luck.